People always ask me about the connections in this industry. I've been around long enough to see how certain relationships really work. Snoop and Diddy, that goes way back. It's not just music, it's history, respect, and moments shared behind closed doors. I remember one night, a private party, not just any party, industry heavyweights, real legends in one room. Music loud, energy crazy, cameras off. Snoop walked in, calm, cool, like he always does. Diddy was already running the room, making sure everything was perfect. That night wasn't about fame, it was about power and presence. People on the outside only see headlines. I see patterns. In this game, relationships matter more than hits. And when legends link up at special events like that, trust me, history is being made even if the world never sees it.
Is there other stuff that you just have not shown?
Yeah, well, everything couldn't make was 4 episodes.
Right.
So it was a lot. You had to pick and choose things. Like even in an area where he chooses to date people who he knows previously dated someone. He has a baby by a woman that was dating Tupac.
Rappers, if there was any beefs, they would have like diss tracks.
Yeah.
It would be the diss tracks. Now it's just like a docuseries.
This one, the timing was, I knew what it was going to turn into.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're gonna make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're gonna name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
Until the FBI told them, yo, we think that's for you. So, if you're getting paid to do a job, he was already doing his job. So that's why I think he did it.
So I want to backtrack, my man, because you made a comment and you said something that you never said on my platform before. You did say on my platform before that you believe Puffy, he was the target, but you never said that.
Because if they got some tapes out there and it's with some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be real crazy. And they're gonna have to bring that to forefront because the prosecutor's gonna want those tapes. And they're gonna do whatever they have to do legally to get those tapes. No ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Snoop Dogg, a figure known for his non-stop commentary and bold online presence, suddenly went silent just as 50 Cent's documentary exploded onto the scene. As the film climbed to the top of Netflix charts, it didn't just reignite scrutiny around Diddy, it expanded the spotlight to everyone connected to him, intensifying public attention across the board. Yet while conversations grew louder, Snoop's absence became impossible to miss. In today's media-driven culture, staying quiet during controversy is rarely accidental. It's a move that carries weight. When pressure rises and a familiar voice disappears, the silence itself becomes the statement, raising a sharp and unavoidable question. Is it a calculated shield or a sign of something deeper at play?
Have been best friends since they were 6, 7 years old. And let me give you the real story on that one, brother. I didn't make it happen and Puffy didn't make it happen. One night I was at my house and Puffy's son was over about like 9 o'clock. And I'm like, cuz, what time you going home? And he like, I'm spending the night. I'm like, did you tell your dad? He like, nah, my mom dropped me off. So Kim, rest in peace, was connecting my kids with Puff kids, and they formed a friendship and a bond. When Justin went to UCLA, my son went to UCLA. When Christian was rapping, my son was rapping. When he was modeling, they was flying over the world together. So they forged a friendship and a brotherhood.
What do you guys think? But let's go through, I want to go through this list. So, all right, we have a lot of names on this list. I want to go through the transcription because I'll play a little bit of this video. It's just kind of annoying. It's playing a lot of music. Who put this song on? Drake. Oprah. Oprah's on every list, guys. And honestly, that's one I believe. Why is she on every list? J-Lo. Always bringing back J-Lo. And with A-Rod. Will Smith. Alicia Keys. They mixed it so it sounds more depressing, and it's not. It's a very annoying edit. Andy Curtis, shame on you. Calling out all the names who are involved and turned his back on him. This list is insane. Look, he knew a lot of famous people. He did. That is a truth. Not all of them are implicit in what he did. But here's the list. Here's the list. Without further ado, I will show you the list. Drake, Oprah, J-Lo, A-Rod, Will Smith, Alicia Keys, Justin Bieber, Kevin Hart, Mark Wahlberg, Snoop, another one, himself, DJ Khaled. We could just play this the whole time.
Another one.
We got Swiss Beats.
Another one.
Kelly Rowland.
Another one.
Chris Brown.
Another one.
Maluma. I won't keep putting it. Just funny because DJ Khaled was also on the last lawsuit from Lil Rod, claiming he went to the bedroom with male workers. Allegedly, so says Lil Rod. Maluma, Issa Rae, Ciara, Janelle Monáe, Lizzo, Meg Thee Stallion, J Balvin, Naomi Campbell, Jessica Alba, Peter Wilson, Gabriel Union, Usher. Usher's still friendly with him. All those parties he went to. Demi Lovato, Tracy Ellis Ross, Soirée, Julianne Hough, Diplo, Lil Uzi Vert, D Nice. Oh, it's our own D Nice. Hey, D Nice. Burna Boy. D Nice, you didn't tell me you were at a Diddy party. Paris Global, Nicole Scherzinger from Pussycat Dolls, Cara Delevingne, Winnie Harlow, French Montana, also listed in a lot of the stuff, and many more. Jay-Z, Machine Gun Kelly, Tiana Taylor, Travis Scott were also pictured at the hip-hop mogul's birthday per snaps, which we can look at. But look, it's interesting because there's definitely, obvious names on this list. There's also a few like Tracy Ellis Ross and Jessica Campbell and Janelle Monáe and Issa Rae are more like, Hollywood liberal type people. He's got a lot. It's just a very big list of folks. Do I believe everybody on this list was involved in something debaucherous? No, I don't. When you look at the footage of the party, like he does this a lot, where he has like these fancy ones that he takes photos of for everyone to see. So and what the vibe I get is he wants, he throws these big parties. He's known for the parties. That's clear. And I believe he was throwing really big celebrity parties that were, look great, look like, super weddings. When you show up to a party, you got amazing decor and drinks and things. No doubt. I believe he was doing these events too. Like he clearly threw.
Snoop Dogg has openly spoken about his deep, long-term bond with Diddy, making it clear that their connection extended far beyond music into real family ties. Their households were intertwined, their children grew up side by side, attended the same schools, and moved through similar professional paths, forming a tight network that reflected their parents' alliance. That level of closeness reshapes the narrative, because proximity carries consequences. When controversy hits the inner circle, distance is no longer an option, and neutrality fades fast. The reality is uncomfortable but clear. Closeness doesn't just build loyalty, it also exposes vulnerability, and when pressure rises, everyone connected feels the impact.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused or they're witnessing.
They They were
Anyone
paid
who
at
was in
least.
the room and watched it happen, but made no effort to stop it. Any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on, but failed to stop it. Any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it, but did nothing to report it or stop it. And any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are in fact individual cases, there is a common theme.
He goes in, there's a lot more, the theme being that he would bring them in with drinks, lace those drinks. If you didn't drink said drinks, you were kicked out of the party. Once they took the drink and sort of passed out, they had their way with these people. And that's the theme that was happening ongoing. But so Christopher, I want to get your reactions, but I was taken by that part where he's really calling it out there and putting it out.
Old interviews are now resurfacing, especially moments where Diddy spoke in vague, guarded tones on television, while Snoop reacted in ways that once seemed insignificant. Today, those same clips are being viewed through a sharper, more skeptical lens. They aren't proof of anything, but they highlight how quickly public perception shifts once trust begins to crack. Gestures, pauses, and expressions that were once ignored are now dissected in detail. This reflects a larger reality of modern controversies. Once doubt enters the story, every past moment is re-examined with suspicion. The takeaway is unmistakable reputation shapes context, and once that foundation weakens, nothing is ever seen the same way again.
Y'all don't love us! Y'all don't love us! All on the record, dancing, coming death row.
But I was like, damn, we on the same record label. I know these people are really thinking like we are like Coast, West Coast. We got beef with the people we got beef with. But we could go anywhere in the country because we are America's most.
Until the FBI told them, yo, we think that's for you. So, if you're getting paid to do a job, he was already doing his job. So that's why I think he did.
So I want to backtrack, my man, because you made a comment and you said something that you never said on my platform before. You did say on my platform before that you believe Puffy, he was the target, but you never said that the police told Puffy that he was the target. Elaborate on that.
The FBI told him that. Phil Carson said that in the dossier. He said, I went to Sean Combs. He was reluctant to speak to me. But when I told him that we believe the hit was for you, he said that's when Puff gave him his attention. The FBI, Phil Carson.
Wow.
He investigated the case. He was the one that said that the LAPD definitely, those rogue cops had something to do with the murder of Biggie Smalls. They did the murder and planned the murder of Biggie Smalls. They were seen at the Peterson Museum. They were seen picking up bullets at a crime scene, picking up shell casing. This is the FBI agent saying this. So now, he told Puff that he believed it was for him.
So a few days ago, man, I seen a news clip that was from the LA local news, man, and they showed this on March 9th, which was the anniversary of Biggie's murder. And they said that Amir Muhammad lives in Atlanta now and he does real estate. Do you think Amir Muhammad will ever come out and speak?
Why would he? Why should he? What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say? Yeah, I killed him. oh, yeah, I had something to do with it. He gonna stay far away from it as he can. Murder don't go away. You understand what I'm saying? The statue of murder is always there. They'll come get you 30, 40 years from now. If he's still around when the statue at those cases being sealed is up, then he gonna have to talk or say something. But those cases, that case was sealed. Until they say that the case is closed or solved, that information stays sealed. But that information is what we need to get the killers in jail. They sealed the evidence that we need to put the killers behind bars. Because you know why, and that's what, if you've seen that program like you said, he said that it would have cost LA $400 to $600 million for their officers be enrolled and killing the Notorious Big.
Do you think Biggie and Puffy had a good relationship before?
Long-standing claims from Suge Knight about the night Tupac was shot have resurfaced, reopening wounds that never truly healed and reigniting tensions buried for decades. He has pointed to what he describes as unusual absences, emotional responses, and unexplained actions involving Snoop during critical moments, though these assertions remain strongly contested and unproven. Still, their continued resurfacing underscores how many fractures in hip-hop history were never fully resolved. When influential voices offer overlapping yet conflicting versions of the same events, clarity fades and certainty collapses. The deeper message is hard to ignore. Unresolved history doesn't disappear, it lingers quietly, waiting for the right spark to pull it back into the spotlight.
That's being shopped around, a Diddy and another male. They say the other male is an A-list celebrity.
I would wonder if he's white or black. And if I'm looking at any black guys that are A-listers that's bigger than Diddy, there's only one that I could come up with. And there's a few I could come up with. Will Smith. He's bigger than Diddy. I would think Nick Cannon is bigger than Diddy. Who else on the black that are black actors or black in the business that's an A-lister that's bigger than Diddy, that's black? That's hard to think. But then if you got the A-listers, you know, you got to realize he ran with that black, that Rat Pack. And I don't want to even say their names because they said I got their names wrong last time. What's his name? Kushner? What's the other guy? Leonardo? Yeah, his name. Man, I don't keep up with these cats. But I heard that that's not only the tape that's being shopped. There's some other tapes out there, other people too with him. And him doing some things with some other people. So there's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they're hearing. And I don't want to see the tapes, but I want to know if they're really true. Because if they got if they got some tapes out there and it's with some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be real crazy. And they're gonna have to bring that to forefront because the prosecutor's gonna want those tapes. And they're gonna do whatever they have to do legally to get those tapes. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. So we just better hope for his sake, that's just a bunch of bull crap. But then there's lawyers out there saying, yeah, the tape does exist. Lawyers got on television to say the tapes exist. I don't really know or trust that because they was trying to say he had a tape with one of the bodyguards and this lady that came out. So we don't know what to think until we actually see that and we get that version. You remember we had that bootleg version of R. Kelly tape?
Yeah, I remember that.
They don't even bootleg. Yo, they don't even bootleg no more, man. So it's gonna be hard to figure it out. if it does exist.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy, and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so.
An attorney representing alleged victims publicly acknowledged the existence of sensitive recordings connected to Diddy and another unnamed, highly prominent figure, a statement that instantly injected legal gravity into an already heated public discussion. Although no identities or specifics were disclosed, the confirmation alone was enough to shift the narrative out of the realm of rumor and speculation and into a far more serious, law-centered arena where consequences feel tangible. What once circulated primarily as online chatter or theory suddenly carried real-world implications, altering the tone from curiosity to accountability and restraint. Yet, when details remain sealed and transparency stops just short of clarity, uncertainty only grows louder and more disruptive. In that vacuum, silence becomes combustible, unanswered questions multiply, and interpretation runs unchecked, reinforcing a familiar reality. When verified facts pause or withhold, speculation rushes in to fill the space and seize control of the narrative.
We spoke about that on your show. I said if they really wanted him, all they had to do was review those civil lawsuits. And once they find the criminal activity in those, they could bring him in. Now, did the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Miami do it? No, they didn't. Did California do it? No, they did not. The Southern District of New York, they took it upon themselves and put on that raid and everything based on the information they found in Cassie lawsuit and the information they found in Little Rod lawsuit. But all this is bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Cause you know who else they was doing investigation on during that whole time period? It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City. They turn around and give him the key to the city. All the mayor people that he brought on here in New York City are all resigning. They all resigning. People ain't gonna tie this together, but if you look at it, you have to say, because of Mayor Adams and his relationship with Diddy, it brought on the Southern District of New York to start investigating Diddy on civil lawsuits that was put against him. Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City.
Yeah, the feds revealed that, anybody that, participated in any, criminal behavior at his freak-offs, they're going to pursue.
Listen here. The mayor here take like 15 spoons of sugar in his coffee. So it's all a possibility.
Do you think there's any celebrities on them tapes?
Bro, he gave celebrity parties. So what you think? I think they're not telling the whole truth, is that because of the situation in Miami and the situation in California, and they closed the clubs like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. and something like that, that Justin and Christian was bringing big vans of girls and people back to the mansion and giving parties and stuff like that. And a lot of those stuff were their parties.
Former insiders like Gene Deal contend that many documentaries subtly dilute reality by carefully trimming out names, connections, and details that might complicate or destabilize the preferred narrative, presenting a version of events that feels polished but incomplete. He argues that certain figures repeatedly surface in behind-the-scenes accounts, yet mysteriously disappear from the final cut, raising uncomfortable questions about what is intentionally being left unsaid and who benefits from that silence. Whether these omissions stem from legal caution, powerful influence, access preservation, or deliberate strategic control, this kind of selective storytelling creates a deep ethical tension between truth and presentation. When reality is filtered for safety, profitability, or continued cooperation, audiences are left piecing together fragments rather than engaging with a full and honest understanding of events. The takeaway is sharp and difficult to deny. Delaying or softening the truth may not erase it, but it undeniably weakens its force, reshaping reality into something more convenient, controlled, and palatable than complete.
It was their parties. They wasn't always Puff parties. It was his son's parties.
Good point. They said some of these freak will last for days.
That's where they're gonna get him on this trafficking thing. Especially like if he was traveling and doing it. That's where the trafficking come at. That you hiring workers to come and have with your girl. That's crazy. That's some Hollywood that I don't even know, bruh. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. But they also claiming that, Diddy, he'll give ecstasy to his victims to keep them obedient.
Then they have to bring those witnesses in there. That's gonna be something hard to prove. Unless Lil Rob or Lil Cassie state that was something that happened. That's how the prosecutor's gonna prove that. They got a ton of evidence that they gotta try to prove, bro. A lot of that if you read it, it could be circumstantial, you know what I'm saying? But they gotta have witness to back it up. You just can't say that happened based on somebody's lawsuit and what the words that they're saying. They have to have witnesses in there. And I think Puff lawyers is gonna be smart enough to attack that.
Right. And they claiming that Diddy, he was blackmailing his victims because he had videos from old and he was using those videos to get his victims to do another freak off. So
if he was blackmailing people, especially people that work for him, see, this is what it's gonna get him at. See, people think that, those people work for him, or those people, if they was artists and they work for him, or they were engineers, or they anybody that worked for them and stuff like that, your boss cannot blackmail you to do nothing. If you do a sex act or you doing anything, your boss, if he have you doing those things like that, then he could be liable for suit. Because you're not doing it willingly. Because that individual is your boss. So psychologically, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what nobody say, that when somebody has something over you, could determine your job, your career, your livelihood. That's somewhat of a blackmail if they holding stuff that they've done, that you've done in the past, over your head to make you continually doing that stuff. Now, that's where he loses at. Cause some of those people work for him, or he was a part of doing something. They was part of doing something for their career with him. That's why he loses that case.
Survivors and cultural commentators are increasingly calling out what they perceive as selective accountability within celebrity culture, arguing that influence, wealth, and popularity too often determine who faces tough questions and who remains comfortably insulated from real consequences. Their criticism goes beyond targeting specific individuals and instead turns the mirror towards society itself, challenging the public to confront why admiration so frequently replaces scrutiny and why loyalty to fame can overpower moral responsibility. While accusations must always be grounded in credible evidence and handled with care, repeated patterns of similar behavior and protection cannot simply be ignored, minimized, or brushed aside as coincidence. When the same power dynamics resurface again and again, they demand deeper examination and serious reflection rather than defensive denial. The conclusion that emerges is stark and difficult to avoid. Justice becomes increasingly fragile in environments where fame outweighs fairness, And true accountability bends under the pressure of public favor instead of standing firmly on principle.